Now, into the ticket office of Disneyland.
Oh boy, let's do this.
Don't think the CIA is going to be trying to hack your second-gen iPod.
I didn't think so. There might have been a lot of illegal music on there. I wouldn't doubt it. But, I mean...
You were supposed to bring death to the flagships, not join them.
Google has found a new way to piss me off.
iTunes is a constant source of embarrassment.
Behind-the-scenes camera crap.
Here, tell us about courage, Phil. Tell us about courage.
I am Nadella. I can't do it anymore without laughing. I was going to do the whole thing. Welcome, everyone, to the Calling All Platforms podcast. I am your host, Wes, and I am here with Landen.
Hello.
And Caleb.
Hey.
And we want to wish you Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. It's already passed.
Yep.
Yes.
Yay.
Yes, this is our first episode of the year of 2024, which also makes it our Wishlist episode.
Yay.
Woo. We thought long and hard on this one. This is an interesting one because, man, let's get into it. Because there's some interest. Me re-listening to my wish list, I was just like, wow, some of the stuff. I was like, I was really hoping for a miracle on one of those because dang. But let's get into this, shall we?
You know, it's always fun to listen back to last year's because there's so much that changed between last year and this year. In everything, every aspect of technology, the world, just it's so different.
It is. Yeah. So let's get into it. So we're going to start with Landen today. Landen, why don't you start us off with your 2023 wish list and let us know if you won or not.
All right. Well, I think I did better than I originally thought that I had. I'd kind of forgotten all the, I remembered some things I wanted, but I'd forgotten everything. So there was the one thing that I really wanted from Apple specifically was an M Series Pro chip in a Mac Mini. And we finally got that this year.
Yep.
Thank you. I unfortunately haven't bought one yet because of circumstances that were unforeseen at the time when recording last year. But that next time I buy a computer will probably be that because that's what I was asking for forever. So thank you, Apple, for giving me that win on that one. The next two things that I wanted were from Google. The first one was for Google to continue with what they were doing with the Pixel lineup. Because the first, last year I asked, or I guess 2 years ago, I asked for them to, do something consistent, basically.
Yeah.
And they kind of did that from the Pixel 7 to the 8. It's very similar process and style of what it looks like and what, you can actually see, okay, the next year or two, I kind of see what they're potentially going to be going for here. Whereas beforehand, it was very hit or miss on, okay, what's the next phone going to be? What's it going to do? Why are we going to care? So they did that. That's good.
Going from the Pixel 5 to 6, even, that was such a weird. So it's what are you doing? You going to kill the Pixel line or what?
Yeah.
And then this happened. So, yeah.
So that's good. The other thing that I asked for was improvements to the Pixel Watch. And I'm going to say that I got that, ? Because, it's the same design. It looks identical to the original one, the Pixel Watch 2. But they did make some improvements to it. Battery life, I understand, is better. Mm-hmm. The fitness stuff is better because this is actually the first watch that they made after the Fitbit purchase. So This one actually has all the Fitbit stuff built into it, whereas the first generation one was a little bit iffy on that stuff from what I understand. So they did do that. They did make some improvements to it, but they didn't do I wanted a design change personally because it's not my favorite style or looking watch, I guess. I do like the round style. It's just that design for me is not what I like.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't kill it though, so
True.
It definitely could have gone worse.
They definitely could have gone. They usually do 2 years of something like that, especially hardware. So we'll see if they come out with a third version.
Right.
It'll be interesting. I think that's when I'll upgrade my watch because I got the first iteration. The second one, I mean, it's kind of like the phones. I always try to skip a generation just because I want an upgrade.
Yeah.
A decent upgrade, you know?
Yep. And the last thing that I asked for, which this was kind of a shot in the dark type wish, it was for Apple to make the Apple Watch either stand alone or work with Android in some fashion. That did not happen this year, unfortunately.
Nope.
It's actually one of the smallest jumps from year to year when it comes to the Apple Watch, because literally all they really did was add the double tap feature, which again I think is kind of cool. But they did do the what was it? Oh no, the blot oxygen stuff has been available for a while, so that's not even new. It's just that's in courts for reasons. So,
yes, it is.
So that one's my one for sure loss, was for Apple to make the Apple Watch work either by itself or with Android in some fashion, but that did not happen, unfortunately. So 3 out of 4s, I'll take that. That's pretty good. It's much better than I did last year, where I don't think I got any of what I wanted last year. All right. Now, for my wish list this year. Everything has to do with Apple, strangely enough. There's one that is both Apple and Google, and I'll start with that one. So I want Apple and Google to give me a reason to upgrade my phone other than it's old.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
And that being said, it's not that old. It's a iPhone 13 Pro Max, so it's not super old, but I usually, this is the first time in a while that I have gone more than 2 years with the same phone, because neither Apple or Google gave me a real reason to upgrade this year to either of the Pixel or the new iPhone. So I'm really wanting for at least one of them, preferably both, to do that. Give me a reason to upgrade my phone this year, because I want to, but I don't want to just for the sake of upgrading.
Yeah,
if I can avoid it.
Yep.
Because, spending $1,000 plus on a phone isn't my favorite thing to do, despite what Apple and Google seems to think.
God, it's so weird.
I know.
Why don't you love giving money to these giant corporations? How dare you?
Oh, it's weird. I know. All right. The next thing on my list is, again, for Apple. I desperately want them to USB-C all the things.
All the things.
Most specifically, the keyboard and the mouse. Because the fact that all of your computers are USB-C, your phones are USB-C, the iPads are USB-C, -1. I think the regular iPad is still Lightning for some dumb reason.
Yeah.
But why are all of your peripherals or still Lightning? Other than the AirPods Pro have a USB-C case that you can buy. They come with, I guess, now. But their AirPods Max, the giant headphones, are still Lightning for some. They never should have been Lightning. That was a dumb thing.
Seriously.
And the keyboard and mouse, I really want them to either kill the mouse altogether and just sell trackpads, or give us a new design mouse at least, or something. But put USB-C in all these things, please, Apple. It's 2024. Should have happened 4 or 5 years ago.
It's utterly ridiculous.
It's outrageous. And then another thing for Apple, and I put this out there. I don't think this is going to happen, but it has been talked about and rumored for a couple years now. But I want Apple to buy ESPN from Disney. And I put this out there because, like I said, it has been rumored for a few years that Disney's wanting to kind of sell off some of its stuff. And ESPN is one of those that they actually could probably make money off, or if they sold it, they could make money from what they paid for it. And companies would be willing to buy something like that because live sports is still the one thing in television that does make money. So that would be nice. And Apple is one of those that has always been top of the rumor mill when it comes to actually thinking about buying ESPN. So
yeah.
they've already gotten into. They started with baseball. They've now got all the streaming rights for Major League Soccer in the U.S. and worldwide, really. But now they just need to buy ESPN. Come on, Apple. It would be fantastic.
That'd be interesting.
I would actually pay for some form of Apple TV Plus if you bought ESPN.
Ooh. Wow.
There you go, Apple.
Probably. Because I could also, I mean, it's not going to go away from YouTube TV and, other regular TV services.
That's probably true.
But if their extra stuff is on there, I would potentially buy it. So there you go, Apple. All right. Now, the last thing that I forgot to mention from 2023, at the end of the episode last year, we had a Hail Mary thing because of Caleb's random asking Microsoft to actually buy Blizzard, and it worked out, strangely enough.
I'm still over the moon with that.
Dude.
At the end of last year's episode, Wes asked us what our Hail Mary acquisition that Microsoft should do. And mine was I wanted Microsoft to buy TikTok because at that time, that was in talk. Like, they were thinking about actually doing that. And then lots of things have changed since then. And that's that hasn't been even talked about probably since last year about this time, unfortunately. So that did not happen. Now, I do have a Hail Mary type wish list item this year. You would think that it would be Apple to buy ESPN because that's kind of probably not going to happen. But no. Unfortunately, this is even less likely to happen than that. I am asking for Google to go one calendar year, not even just January to December, like from the last time they did this to another year past that. I don't want them to kill something. At least I will give a caveat to that. Something somewhat major. Because they're going to kill off small things. That's always going to happen. Every company does that, and that's fine. But I don't want Google to kill off something that we actually know about, or there's enough people that use it to get upset about it, So, come on, Google. Go at least a year from the last time you killed. I need to look that up to see when that was. But go a year without killing something. Please. That's my Hail Mary.
Good luck with that one. That's
that's why
a good Hail Mary. Let's see how that goes.
You ask the impossible.
That's why that one's my Hail Mary, because it is I don't expect that to happen, but you never know. You never know.
Man. That would be wild. Listener, if about this time next year you see pigs flying past your window, then you'll know.
Yeah,
this actually happened.
Yep. Oh, man. That's my wish list for 2024.
That's an awesome wish list, actually. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and tell you my 2023 wish list, and I will tell you I got a big fat 0 right now on mine. Big fat 0. So the first thing I talked about, well, maybe not. I'm going to say 0.5 because when I listened, I kind of on this one, I'm going to give it kind of half because when I first was talking about, I was like, I just want them to continue, obviously, to innovate on the cross-play, cross-gen, and all this. And it seems like everyone's taking on this, being able to have at least cross-save, cross-play, some kind of thing. And it seems to be more going to developers owning that. And that's what we wanted. You can now download Baldur's Gate and you can play it on anything and you can have your save go anywhere. You can do the same thing with Cyberpunk, even the single player games, your save goes anywhere. And so we love seeing this and a lot more cross-play games that are just hop and play with your friends. It doesn't matter. We love that. Great. So I'll give that the partial. But then I continued when I was talking I was like, I actually want Microsoft to innovate more in hardware and make it more exciting to be a part of. I did not get this. Granted, yes, they were spending money, lots and lots of money, but yeah, the hardware specifically, I was talking about. We had mentioned, the Surface hardware, trying to make it just more exciting to be a part of, more exciting to be, it's so cool. I'm going to get this next Surface or this. It's kind of, I don't know. It felt there was not much. They had Surface things come out, and it was just like, hey, here's another Surface thing. Side note, it felt like an email that could have been sent, on their Surface event.
Here's another Surface Go that nobody wants.
I said I wanted them to innovate, make it more exciting. The most innovative thing that they did was change the Windows key to a Copilot key.
Oh, gosh.
So everything from here on out, you'll see in Surface, it will no longer have the Windows key. It will be the Copilot key. So that's not the exciting that I wanted.
Well, to be fair, we have to understand that last year we truly thought that the ABK deal would end much sooner than it did.
True.
And I think
true.
I think that had a lot to do with obviously it had a lot to do with what Microsoft and everybody did on the gaming side of things, but I think it held back just a lot of things in general that we didn't think that it would / thought it would be done in March last year, because that's what the rumor was, and that didn't happen.
I know, right? That's what we thought. But so I mean, Zero, I didn't get it. The obvious reason, the big elephant in the room, is the ABK deal. Let's be real. And obviously they were, so it's all that. The second thing, man, I was going off of hope. The second thing was a better experience for social media platforms. I was re-listening to that, and I was like, man, I remember where I was about it, and re-listening to that, and I was like, man, I was really, really hoping for some sort of miracle, but man, that's still,
yeah.
So I'm gonna say a big fat zero on that. We talked about it, because Elon, he bought Twitter, and he was changing a lot of different things. We specifically talked about him and Twitter mostly just because of that, and we were just kind of hoping changes would happen for the better. And I still need to take some breaks.
I'm genuinely shocked that a billionaire didn't live up to his word.
Shh, don't worry about it.
It's truly saddening if that's the type of world we live in, man.
But then again, it's the users and everybody, and it's hard.
Man.
So I can't say I could do better, but
let's be fair. He did change everything about the social media platform. Just everything he changed made it worse than it was before. So
it's different.
Did he promise to make it better, or did he just promise to change it? See, that's the key.
No. We were hoping it would be better.
See, he said, "I'm going to change everything,"
but it has.
And
you
it's
see
true.
What I'm saying?
It's all different.
It's different. We'll say that. So I got a big fat zero on that. So yeah. So let's go ahead and get into my 2024 wish list. I was thinking about this, and I was like, what am I really wanting to see? What am I, excited for? And I'm actually excited, and I want to see this happen. I want Microsoft to actually deliver on their release of their mobile store on Android, iPhones, and more platforms, but I want them to come out swinging, but to make a difference, to really put it out there. And I'm sorry, but I don't want them to do the Epic thing.
I don't think anybody wants them to do the Epic thing.
No.
I want them to come out, but not only to make sense of why someone would get it, but just, I don't know, but also to just change stuff, just to innovate, to I don't know. I want them to shake the boat, rock the boat with it in a sense. Mm-hmm. I don't know how. I don't know, I want, obviously developers to only have to pay a certain amount or this and that, whatever. Obviously we want that, but I would like to see some sort of innovation of it and push forward with that. So I am interested to see with that because of the ABK deal, with all that and with all the new deals that are happening. because of the ABK deal with all the cloud stuff, everything that's going to be happening with this and the change of the industry. I think this would be cool to see. So that would be one thing I want to see that supposedly is coming that they've talked about. So, but I want it to be like exciting. I know I'm wanting it to be exciting, like, oh,
Wouldn't that be
dang,
nice?
this is a cool step, So that's my first one. So my second one is I'm going to go ahead and do this and say I want them to innovate hardware. The ABK deal's done. You can do this. Now, I'm going to throw this out there, and I actually want them to either A, make an Xbox handheld, or B, partner with Valve on the Steam Deck.
There you go.
Either A, bring out your own iteration, or B, really heavily just, hey, Gabe, we like what you're doing.
Just put Game Pass on the Steam Deck, Microsoft.
Something.
That's good enough. That's all we want.
Oh yeah, like something. I want to see something kind of cool with that in the gaming handheld there, the system. I want to see that.
I think them putting Game Pass on the Steam Deck is much more likely than them making their own handheld.
True.
But I could see both happening. What I picture would be this year they announce Game Pass on the Steam Deck. Next year they announce a Xbox handheld with the release of the new Xbox or something like that.
Yeah, the upgrade or something.
Yeah.
I will say there is an aspect of it that I think it's maybe unlikely that they're going to do something with Valve, specifically since Valve is leaning so heavily into Linux as the OS. Yeah. And there are plenty of other, like it seems like every other month now, a major player in the PC space is launching a gaming handheld PC like the Steam Deck that is running Windows. So it seems more likely that they would partner with one of them, be like, hey, it's Windows, and now Game Pass. But none of those people really need to partner with Microsoft in order to advertise Game Pass compatibility with their stuff, because again, they're just running Windows. So
and the other thing is we all know how well Windows runs on ARM, so.
Oh, they're not ARM. They're all AMD powered.
They're all AMD
chips
powered.
there.
Yeah, there you go.
I guess the reason why I said the Steam Deck is just because the Steam Deck is everything I feel that I would want.
Yes.
Is right for me. And I guess the whole streaming thing I get and I understand, but I don't want to spend, I guess we're going to dog on the PlayStation one. Like, I don't want to spend that much on a controller with a screen just to play locally. Like, I don't know. And, even the other things like that are like, yeah, you can take this with battery life anywhere you go, but you're streaming it to the device. I guess I'm like, I like the idea of having it local.
Yeah. And there's the ROG Ally and the whatever Asus's Legion something that I can't remember what that one's called. Like, there's other options out there that they could be like, yeah, we're officially partnering with them, and just releasing an Xbox branded version of somebody else's handheld.
Yes.
That could very well happen this year. It wouldn't necessarily be like an Xbox designed handheld, but even just an Xbox branded ROG Ally that comes with Game Pass Ultimate or something like that.
And that you're able to actually install the game on there. Right. It could be the local.
Well, yeah. Like that's the advantage of all of these little handheld PCs is you can do streaming if you want. Like if you're okay with settling for streaming, you can stream Xbox games to the Steam Deck right now through the browser. Right. That's not that hard. But being able to actually install it locally is what matters. And so,
and so that's kind of where the idea of obviously the Steam Deck, the idea of why I said the Steam Deck, that's the standard. I guess I'm holding it to.
The Steam Deck has the community goodwill that Xbox really seems to be targeting a lot these days. Mm-hmm. So that is a horse they would probably like to hitch themselves to if they could. If it made sense.
And I feel if they were able to get that would bring that more exciting part of hardware.
Yeah.
That I'm like, oh, this is good. This is momentum you can build on. So
or
that there.
Hear me out. The new Xbox is going to be very similar to the Wii U.
No, jeez.
No, that's what the PlayStation 5 is.
I was going to say
already.
that's what
We
the
don't-
PlayStation Portal is.
No, but you have to buy that controller separately. This one will come bundled.
Oh,
there
there
you
you go. There you go. Yeah.
they
Xbox
tried
with gamepad.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel about it. That's why I'm like, I don't know.
Oh man.
So
And the way they'll do it is they'll just package a Surface Duo and give little click-on controllers to it or something.
oh gosh. Just
They got all that
Snap.
hardware. They got to sell it somehow.
yeah. Have like Cortana
Oh,
say something
man.
when it snaps on or something. I don't know. Make it an Xbox flare. Who knows? Just Master Chief says I'm ready when you click it on there. I don't know. Anyway, so we were talking about kind of a Hail Mary type of thing. I'm going to be honest. I don't remember what I said. I know exactly, but I remember saying what you guys think for the acquisition, like big acquisition or something. And I do. The one thing that I was thinking for this year, and I think this is kind of, I'd like to see it get to this, and this is definitely a Hail Mary. One, because we were just talking about Microsoft releasing mobile stores. Two, they have been talking about this ARM thing that's finally showing some kind of, the mobile processors for ARM showing some kind of progress that's happening. I've been noticing. They've talked about maybe having Xbox go to ARM, the next iterations of this. Like they've been really talking about it. And so I was like, it would be interesting. And here's the Hail Mary. A Windows Phone comeback. Not a Surface, or an iteration of Surface. No. I want to see them just be like, bring something. That is the biggest Hail Mary I can say, just because of the stuff that they're doing. I could see it maybe happening, stuff that's been said, but let's be realistic. Maybe not. But
It's the biggest thing, I say biggest, but maybe only piece of evidence that might support this is the whole like, hey, you can emulate Android apps on Windows 11.
mm-hmm.
That's
that
it.
too.
Because if they were going to try and relaunch a Windows-powered smartphone,
Mm-hmm.
it would have to come with Android app emulation.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way that phone ships at all.
And we'll see. I don't know. That's why I said that's the Hail Mary. So be some sort of comeback with all the things they're doing.
I could see them doing a very heavily skinned version of Android.
True.
But
I mean,
if
that's
they
what they were
want the
doing
apps
with,
for it, they still have to acquiesce to Google's demands when it comes to, if they want the Play Store, they have to do certain things. So, but they could still very heavily skin the crap out of that thing and make it look like a Windows Phone. So it's possible.
So we'll see. That's why I said that little bit. We'll see. With this ABK deal, I feel like there's some leverage that they've got going on. I mean, for a while, what was it that came out of those court documents? It was Google was paying Blizzard to not put their games, make their own mobile store, So Microsoft could be like, oh, okay, well, can we do this? I don't know. That's just me being hopeful. How's that? Be cool to see. So those are my 2024 wish list items. Last but not least, Caleb, what you got for us?
Oh, man. So, 2023, I had 5 items on my wish list, which enabled me, kind of forced me to have either a win or not a win, because it's an odd number. And I am happy to say that I feel like I got 3 of these pretty good. So, first item on my 2023 wish list was a $500 Mac. I'd asked for that in 2022, and I'm pretty sure in 2021 as well. Did not get it. Finally, kind of did in 2023. When they released the updated M2 powered Mac Mini, the MSRP for that thing was $600. But if, like me, you were able to avail yourself of the student discount via Apple's education store, you could get it for $500 directly from Apple. So it's like kind of a win. I don't know. I'm going to take it because I could go buy one for $500 if I wanted to. So I'll take it. It's better than nothing. Thank you, Apple. It is. Even the $600 was good because that's a $100 price drop from where the Mac Mini had started before. So, $100 price drop is good. And if you can use the education discount, then it is technically $500. So that was nice.
There you go.
Second item on my wish list was an iPhone that doesn't feel like a dystopian social experiment. And,
hey, we got one from space. Just watch the commercial.
That is not. Yeah, their advertising, if nothing else, did make me feel even more like I was in a dystopian social experiment. Like it was less 1984 and more like, I don't know, Ghost in the Shell or something like that, but definitely not the vibe I was looking for, Apple. So gonna go ahead and say that was a miss. That was a bit of a miss. It's like the 15 wasn't as bad as the 14, but 15 Pro was worse. So neat. And then the next item that I asked for, man, things seemed so positive back then in this regard. Open source social media. I wanted that.
Yeah.
When I was listening back to last year's episode and I heard that, I literally laughed out loud because I was like, yeah, nope, that didn't happen.
It's like I said in that episode, I was like, a lot of this is being fueled by people's rage toward Elon Musk, so I don't know how long it's going to last. Turns out about 2 months. That was that was how long it lasted. So that's great. And now all of my social interactions, look, at this point, I'm just going to start writing letters to people. And that's how I'm going to interact with them because, frankly, social media is a cancer and I am so over it. Like, I'm going back to getting all of my news via RSS feeds and email letters and like mailing lists and stuff like that. Gosh dang, social media sucks. Anyways, so yeah, no, did not get that. Total miss on that one. Absolutely flopped. Was kind of made up for by this next one, though, because I asked for games that emphasize a quality experience over a checklist of features. And holy crap. This past year has sure been an interesting one for video games.
Yeah.
First of all, you've got Baldur's Gate 3, which I don't think anybody really has questioned. Like, yes, have not played it, have only seen bits and pieces of it. My closest experience to Baldur's Gate 3 is actually Divinity Original Sin 2. But everybody agrees with me and Wes that from the awards, our last episode, yeah, it's game of the year, right? Best game of 2023 almost universally, and it is a quality experience.
If I may, I want to interrupt. The coolest thing I've seen for Baldur's Gate is that's been on, obviously some social media a little bit that I've seen is people doing LAN parties for Baldur's Gate.
Yep.
That is like I was watching they were doing a LAN party on console stuff. They had a bunch of their Xboxes all together with TVs all set so they could play. I don't know, that threw me back. I was like, oh, that is so cool. Like, sorry, that's old school nerd, I guess, right there. But I was just like, that is amazing.
One of my favorite things about Divinity Original Sin 2 is Game Master mode, which allows you to do couch co-op for, your 4 friends that want to be an adventuring party. And then you be the game master on a computer across the table or whatever. You're controlling the computer side of all of their interactions. It's freaking cool.
Oh yeah.
And that Larian totally leaned into that and delivered what they were targeting a tabletop D&D, except it's a video game experience. Yes. That's what they were going for. Something that leaned heavily on character development and player choice that feels real and decisions that have meaningful impacts to the story and the world that the story takes place in a way that computer games have always promised, but pretty much never actually delivered. So Larian had a target. They were looking for a very specific player experience, and they did it. is there, like, you know, the standard checklist of features from your average Ubisoft game? Like, you know, let's go down the list. Are there skill trees? Yes, it's an RPG. That makes sense. Is there item customization? To a certain extent, it's based on D&D, so as much item customization as you get out of D&D, yeah, you can get that. Are there bases, like enemy bases, that you have to clear? No. Nope. Are there... do you have to gather all of your crafting materials in a big sack in order to build? No. No, you don't, because that's stupid. And it doesn't make sense for anything outside of, like, Minecraft, okay? Like, is it a vast open world that's, like, mostly procedurally generated? No. They designed every piece of that world very specifically. It's like it's the biggest game of the year, and it did not have most of the stuff in the checklist. So that, incredibly encouraging to me. Another one of the largest games of the year, Alan Wake 2, which is a Remedy game, you know, for all the good and all the bad that entails. It's a heavily character, like, first-person, story-focused adventure that is doing lots of weird stuff with the storytelling. Some of it lands, some of it doesn't. But the point is they're experimenting, which is cool and really fun to see. They do have a lot of really unique, interesting ideas, and they were targeting a very specific player experience. Does Alan Wake 2 have an expansive open world? No. Does it have skill trees? No. Does it have, you know, player, like, you know, forts or whatever, bad guy forts that you go clear at? No, doesn't. Does it have hunting for no reason so that you can gather animal pelts? No. What? That would be really, really stupid. Why would I want that? It doesn't have the checklist. And that's fantastic. Just two of the biggest games of the year. They were focused on a quality player experience instead of a checklist of features. And then the one big game of the year that did have the checklist was Starfield. And kind of everybody hated it. Hated is a strong word. I think a lot of people dove into that and went, this isn't as good as I was expecting it to be based on the fact that it's a Bethesda game. And then they all started looking back at the other Bethesda games and going, wait, why was I ever expecting this to be good? Because they're kind of all the same, and they're not bad, but they're not, like, there's like good things about Bethesda games and also a ton of warts all over them, and it's kind of hard to live with them. And I don't know, it was really nice to see the gaming landscape as a whole kind of look at the big games that came out in the year, and the ones that were the most rewarded, the ones that were the most lauded, were the ones that had a quality experience over a checklist of features. So, I claim a win on that one. I think between Baldur's Gate 2, or Baldur's Gate 3, and Alan Wake 2, and honestly, stuff like the Phantom Liberty expansion for Cyberpunk 2077, and a few other things like that, I feel like
I'd even say you got it even in the, like, indie, like, smaller game space. What was the one that the Microsoft at the beginning, that music one? I can't. Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush. Yep.
Like,
also
just
very, very different than what you were expecting. And games like Hi-Fi Rush and like Dredge and stuff like that were getting a ton of press and a ton of recognition, despite the fact that they weren't these huge AAA games. Just awesome to see that sort of thing, you know, getting a ton of attention. So 2023 was a great year for games, and I think that was a huge win. Okay, and then the last item on my 2023 wish list was kind of funny. Like, I wanted a Playdate, you know, the stupid little yellow handheld console with a crank.
Yes.
Added that one kind of last minute last year just because I was like, yeah, you know what? It's a wish list. I do want this thing. And I am happy to say, listener, you can't actually see what's on my camera right now, but this is evidence that, yes, I did, in fact, get a Playdate.
Yes, you did.
It's awesome. Can I just say, this is like one of the most satisfying pieces of electronics I have ever held. Just the feel in hand is amazing. The crank is novel and interesting. And the games that are on here are, well, you know, they're looking for a quality experience over a checklist of features. And I'm all about that right now, apparently. So, yes, I did get a Playdate. I'm happy. It's great.
Okay.
Very nice.
That is awesome.
All right. 2024. I did not put an odd number of things on this wish list, so it's very possible that I could end up with a tie at the beginning of 2025. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. But here's my 2024 wish list. We'll start with Apple. Apple, please, just give me an iPhone I actually want to buy. That'd be great. I'm not even...
Going back and listening to us, all of us are just like, we want our phones.
Just... It's true. It's true. No, it's like, I don't know. There are so many things that I like about the iOS ecosystem, and I don't necessarily want to bail on all of that stuff. But the fact of the matter is, over the last year, the only two phones that I saw that I actually thought, ooh, I would like that, were from Asus, which is like, friggin' what?
Yeah.
And Motorola? Like, I'm sorry, Apple, you are being beaten by Motorola right now in terms of making a phone that feels like it's worth the money they're charging for it and is interesting in any way, shape, or form. So, it's like...
Big factor there is actually shape, too.
Yes. Just do anything interesting with the iPhone. I'd love that. Anything at all. Anything at all. Otherwise, I'm just going to do another year with the 13 mini that I've got. And when this thing eventually breaks, I'm going to be shopping for Android phones. I don't know.
Gosh, we've come full circle with you saying that. Like,
so
where we've started, there's been such an interesting shift. Like, I've hopped, Landon's hopped, now it's your turn. It isn't going to... Oh, man. Crazy.
Yep. They've got to do something. I mean... frankly, the 13 mini that I'm using is absolutely fine. And just, you know, so long as I can like replace the battery on this thing and keep going with it forever, I'm totally fine to do that, Apple. But I happen to know you make most of your money off of hardware sales. Would you not like to sell me some hardware? Okay. The next thing. And this one is just kind of, it speaks to larger issues in Apple's Mac ecosystem, but it's a specific wish. I would like a Mac Pro that works with third-party GPUs. We had like one glorious generation where Apple ditched the trash can Mac Pro, gave us something that had tons of expansion slots and worked with all these third-party stuff, was user upgradable and that kind of thing. Super cool. And then they upgraded it to an Apple Silicon chip, and it's like, nope, never mind. Lost all that. I mean, not all of it. Lost a good chunk of it, though. Because, yeah, it still has all the PCIe expansion slots, and yes, you can upgrade the storage, the internal storage and stuff like that, but the RAM is still soldered to the chip, and I understand the architecture of Apple Silicon means that we're probably not going to get replaceable RAM anytime in the near future, but there's no real reason that they couldn't, through software, make it so that third-party GPUs would work in the Mac Pro. It's just a PCIe card. They just need to include driver support for it, and yes, Apple Silicon has a built-in graphics. I understand this, Apple, but so did the Intel chips that you were putting in there before. There's no reason you can't have both. So that'd be great. Do that, please. Just, yeah, it would be nice to have some user accessible upgradability to any Apple devices. I feel like the Mac Pro is the most obvious place to start. So yeah, let's do that.
And people would probably buy the Mac Pro over the Mac Studio because of that.
Yep.
Right now, there's really no reason to buy the Mac Pro over the Mac Studio.
It's a computer that is made entirely for a subset of the audio and video production industries that just happen to use very powerful third-party add-in cards, like PCI cards. And that's not all of them. Like, that is, like I said, a subset of the high-end audio and video production. Hollywood studios like major productions and like super high-end audio production houses. That's it. Nobody else is using this thing. So we'll see. This one, this item actually was has something I've been wanting for a very long time, and I think it's high time that it does happen. Apple, redesign or kill the Magic Mouse. This isn't even a put a USB-C port on it. No. Redesign it entirely or destroy it. It is the worst mouse in the world, and it makes you look like idiots. Just, I can't. It's terrible. Yeah. It's terrible. And listener, I hear you. There's someone out there right now who's like, no, but the gestures. Yeah, I get it. I used a Magic Mouse for quite some time because I wanted the gestures. They work so good with Mac OS. It's a powerful tool under those circumstances. And then I got RSI, decided I didn't want to have to deal with wrist surgeries and stuff like that. And I switched to mice. I use an MX Master now, but if you really want the full range of gesture support that Apple has in macOS, I totally get you. Don't use a Magic Mouse, get a Magic Trackpad.
Yeah.
Use the trackpad. It's so much better ergonomically and functionally. The Magic Mouse is a turd. It's awful. Hey, added bonus, you can charge the trackpad while you use it.
Weird.
What a novel concept.
What a novel concept.
Okay, so this next one is for kind of just an industry trend at large. Things have been moving in this direction for quite some time, but I just want this to be the year that it actually happens. I want good OLED TVs for less than $500. We have gotten so close over the past couple of years. And in fact, over Christmas, pre-Christmas, Black Friday timeframe, there were LG OLEDs that were selling for like $600 on Black Friday promos and that kind of thing. So we're right there. We're right there. Don't take me to $500 and pretend like that's a win. No. Somebody, Samsung, LG, looking at you guys, give me an OLED TV for less than $500. $450, $400, something like that. That's the point at which OLED is all like, yes, now we are available to the masses. And, my TV could use an upgrade, so that'd be nice.
Yeah. Very nice.
My next item is kind of a follow-up to all of the social media wishing that I was doing last year. At this point, I just kind of want Twitter to die. That's it. I don't, and I refuse to call it X. That's not happening. It needs to die. And then my last item, which is sort of in the vein of the Playdate item from last year, in fact, is in 2024, I want a Steam Deck. It's just, oh man, they look so good, and it's going to replace my gaming PC. That's my thing. I want a Steam Deck. So once again, this is something that I have control over. It's my money. I could just go buy one. So we'll see if I actually do that.
What's the likeliness, honestly?
Greater than 50%, I would say.
Gotcha.
So
that would be fun. Oh, that'd be so cool.
So yeah, that's my 2024 wish list all wrapped up.
All right, man. Here we go. 2024. Let's get them Hail Marys, shall we? Let's see how this goes. I think it'll be
good luck with those.
I think it'll be so interesting to re-listen to this in a year. Just
it
be
always
where
is.
did the industry go?
It's always so to go back and listen to it and be like, well, yeah, there was no way that was actually going to be real.
Yeah. What was it? Because remember, what was mine 2 years ago? It was to buy Valve or something like that. Microsoft to buy Valve.
Yeah, you wanted Microsoft to buy Valve, and then, no.
Well, and I think that was before they announced they're buying Activision Blizzard. So when they did that, I was like, okay, fair enough, I guess.
Well, and what's crazy is that, tens of billions of dollars to purchase Activision Blizzard. I'm sitting here that's how much Activision costs. I can't even imagine what Valve is worth. Like, it's a privately held company, so
Yeah, it's privately
there's
held.
no public numbers for us to really know. But if Activision Blizzard is worth $70 billion, Valve is hundreds of billions. Nobody's buying them anytime soon.
Crazy. Well, I think that's the end of our wishlist episode. Unless, Landon, do you have one more thing?
No. No, I don't.
Hey, I
be
gotta
kind of
ask
weird
every time.
given the context, but yeah.
You never know. He could have been like, he's done that before. He was like,
It's
actually,
true.
I do. Boop.
It's true.
So, just saying. All right, dear listener, we appreciate you listening to our wishlist episode. If you want to get a hold of us, you can on our social media platforms. You can also get on to callingallplatforms.com. You can check out any videos that might be coming. Maybe some new videos coming soon this year.
Listen. A review of the Playdate is absolutely going to happen sometime in the next month or two.
I want to see that.
I promise.
There it is. There's the promise, dear listener. You can check that out when it releases. You could actually go ahead and hit the little bell and everything there on YouTube on our Calling All Platforms.
I promise I'm not going to ring it very often.
But you want to get that Playdate review. So, all right, dear listener, have a good week.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Calling All Platforms is a production of Supporter Sound Studios. To learn more about how you can support the podcast, go to www.patreon.com/callingallplatforms.